Welcome to Monday, Hope on Demand. It is a beautiful day outside. Currently, right now, my girls are downstairs. They're acting like children. They're acting like children, and the twins are acting wild. It's kind of a normal day here. So, Doug Ford, please do not send the kids home after spring break. Trust you guys are doing well. It is Monday. Wild. It's not wild. It's not that wild. I just say wild. And I don't know why I say wild. Welcome to Monday. Great to have you guys on for Hope on Demand. I was on Instagram this morning, scrolling through the never-ending list of stuff and content that people are posting on. Read something that really, like, there's very few things that you know you stop at, because it's a never-ending supply of people's lives and ads and all this craziness. By the way, don't you remember the first time that you saw an ad on Instagram? Man, I remember that. It was, I don't even know what I was getting. It was like Mark's Canada, like Mark's Warehouse. Like, so very few things, you know, kind of stop you, and this one stopped me. And it was Mark Clark. He's a pastor from a church in Vancouver called Village Church, and I met him a couple years ago in Ontario. He was a keynote speaker for an event that I was at. So if you're not already, I mean, if you haven't, Mark Clark, just MARK_CLARK. Mark Clark, he's a pastor there. But the way that he has studied the Bible and understands kind of what Jesus said and what the disciples said and what the Old Testament is, he's honestly one of my favorite guys to listen to. And today, you know, just yesterday, his whole thing was on love. He quotes, I think it's 14 different Bible verses in the New Testament alone, where Jesus himself and Jesus through the disciples instructed us to love one another. And in John 13:34, it says, I am giving you a new commandment, that you love one another, just as I have loved you, that you also love one another. In verse 35 it says, by this all people will know that you are my disciples. They will know that you are people who follow me, if you love one another, if you have love for one another. In John 15:12 it says, this is my commandment, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. In John 15:17 it says, this commandment I give to you, love one another. Romans 12:10 it says, be devoted to one another in brotherly love. Give preference to one another in honor. In 1 Thessalonians 3:12 it says, and may the Lord cause you to increase and overflow in love for one another and for all people, just as we also do for you. 1 Peter 1:22 it says, since you have purified your souls in obedience to the truth for a sincere love of the brothers and sisters, fervently love one another from the heart. 1 John 3:11 it says, for this is the message which you have heard from the beginning, that we are to love one another. In 1 John 3:23 it says, this is the commandment, that we believe in the name of the Son Jesus Christ, and that we love one another just as he commanded us to. In 1 John 4:7 it says, beloved, let's love one another, for love is from God, and everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. In 1 John 4:11 it says, beloved, if God so loved us, we ought to love one another. 1 John 4:12 it says, no one has ever seen God. If we love one another, God remains in us, lives in us, and his love is perfected in us. 2 John 5 says, and now I ask you, lady, not as though I were writing to you in a new commandment, but the one which we have from the beginning, that we love one another. There's so much emphasized here in these few verses, that we're to have love in our hearts, and it's this picture that God puts love. If we have God inside of us, God puts love inside of our hearts, and people will know that you follow Christ if you have love deep inside you. It's a beautiful image. It's a beautiful image. And if there's one thing that the last year taught me anything, is that the world could use a whole lot more love. It could use a whole lot more hope. And I don't know what's going on with your life, friend, but I just want you to know that that Jesus has something pretty special for your life, and that there's a love ready for you right now, that has the power to completely transform your heart. There's this verse in Ezekiel, the book of Ezekiel, 36:26, and it says, "And I will give you a new heart, and I will put in you a new spirit, and I will take out your stony, stubborn heart and give you a tender, responsive heart." There's this idea that what God can do in our hearts, what God can do in our lives is, in the imagery here is that taking a stony, hardened heart from all of life's craziness, and God can put inside of us something new, renewed, something that was once lost. And Jesus certainly is capable of doing that in our lives. So if that's you, I just want you to ask this Jesus to come into your life and to allow him to begin to work in your heart. And if you can understand what that is, and if you want that, send me a message. I'd love to connect with you. But otherwise, God, wants to fill your heart with love, wants to fill you with something that is just so spectacular. So, love you guys. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.